to change the title of the last stream. And we were about to switch topics and everything. So it seems like perfect timing, actually, to have gotten disconnected when I was saying, would any of you be interested? Of course, no one's here yet, but would any of you be interested in some reading time, like reading from the book Psychedelic Bible, and then reading my version of it, or even some poetry, even though I recently read this whole book, both of these, but I have new pages in this one. So unfortunately, I have to roll the ads because I was about to roll them, and that's when I realized we were disconnected. So hopefully, whoever was watching will have time to get back to the stream during the ad break, and when we come back, if anybody wants to let me know what they're feeling, please do. Okay. Okay, so nobody's here. Nobody said anything. We got our number one lurker though. 44444. It's always you, isn't it? And now it's only you. Looking from a window above, it's like a story of love. Can you hear me? Came back on the yesterdays, moving further away. Want you near me. All I needed was the love you gave. All I needed for another day. And all I ever knew, only you. This is gonna take a long time, and I wonder what's right. I can't take no more. Thinking that you'll understand, it's just a touch of your hand behind a closed door. All I needed was the love you gave. 555. All I needed for another day, and all I ever knew, only you. I feel like there's a third verse. I feel like I always forget the part that's like, sometimes when I think of her name, and it's only a game, and I need you. Listen to the words that you say, it's getting harder to stay. When I see you, all I needed was the love you gave. All I needed for another day, and all I ever knew, only you. Okay, so I chose chat mode because I was singing when I came back from the break. It seems like whoever was here hasn't really figured out that I'm back or I'm coming back because I got distracted by another stream and went to sleep. No big deal, right? I gotta continue on. One thing I can count on is your lurking ass being here. Am I right or am I wrong? I just want to be like, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Am I? Am I? Am I? Seems like a lot of times I'm so right. It's just odd when someone is so set on me being wrong, but not being able to tell me what would make me right or what is wrong in what I've got going, yeah? Okay, so if you feel like changing the outcome of your fated future, which is as you see it in front of you, yeah, you know? But if you're content with what you see and what you're after, acceptance, approval, validation from random people who are miserable in life, yeah, weird, right? Okay, so if you decide to drop that, that's when you hit me up and say, yeah, okay. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe you were right. Maybe I wasn't ready to admit you were right, but you were right. And maybe I told you were wrong because I wanted you to be wrong. And when you can do that, that's when you can say, yeah, okay, I do need something from you. And it's more than just this or that in which I thought I needed. Okay. Perfect. Might run you, but it's worth it in the end because it's you. Yeah? So, lurkers only, huh? Cheers. Well, I'm gonna go into reading mode, actually. I think that's just the move. I talked for an hour fucking straight. You can watch the other stream. We got disconnected from the internet for a moment. Before we went offline, there was like 7-10 people watching. Oh, hey, some of you came back maybe. I was about to switch into reading mode if nobody's got any chat things to say. Okay. Who feels sorry? Okay. I'm sorry, who's sorry? You're gonna have to speak up. If you're feeling sorry, I don't know if it's to me, I don't know if it's to yourself, I don't know if it's to somebody else. But listen, if you're feeling sorry, you need to say that. Not only do you need to say it, you need to believe it. And the thing is, when you apologize to someone, you address what you've done wrong, but the apology is in hopes that you will correct the behavior and not do it again, right? So be wary of your apologies and what you can be sorry for, because at the end of the day, if you're only feeling sorry for yourself, that's not true universal forgiveness. The first thing you have to do in order for other people to forgive you is to be able to forgive yourself. And the easiest way to do that is to be honest about what you've done, honest about what you did, honest about what is hurting, okay? To first be honest. Forgive yourself for being the person you were when you did that. Recognizing why you don't want to be that person and what efforts you're going to put in to not doing it again. Yes? Yes. Okay. So once that sinks in and you can forgive yourself for whoever you were at the time you were that person, then you move forward to the person that you need to apologize to, 1111. Once you forgive yourself, you say, okay, I can forgive me, which means not only do I have the capacity of forgiveness, but I also have the capacity to be forgiven. Okay. Beautiful, baby. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So who's working on apologies? I don't get what's going on there. I don't know. But there's something coming. There's something about that. There's somebody maybe writing something, a long fucking letter or some shit. My palm is fucking itching. You're about to show up somewhere. You're like fucking, you can drive in my, baby, you can drive my car. I feel like I heard that in a reading or sang it last night or something about a car. This is, yeah. Maybe Karar, are you back? Maybe that's what that was about. I don't know. Hi, by the way. VHS. Yes. My hand just randomly got itchy. So maybe you are writing something? I sent you a letter, it was turned to sand. Lightning strikes the postman in his hand. That's why I'm itching. You're wondering if I got it? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. 2 addresses ago, probably. Baby boy, baby girl, whoever the fuck you is, trying to get a hold of somebody. No way, man. They did not get your letter. You got to hand deliver that shit. You got to hand deliver. You got to hand deliver. You can't just mail that. No. What is this, a confession? You writing to your priest, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. This is what I'm doing. This is what I've been did. Like, what the fuck? He says, I'm so sorry. I'm sitting in fucking prison right. Good Lord. Maybe you got a lot to say to someone and you're not effectively getting it across. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. And if writing it down doesn't help, then you give it to them. But don't put it in the mail because honestly, too many details, too many variables, if you will, in sending something that way. You gotta hand deliver that shit, babe. Okay? Definitely, definitely, definitely. You gotta make sure that if you want someone to read it, that they get it directly. You can't do this like he said, she said, or da. No, it ain't. The message ain't getting through to nobody. There's way too much bullshit going on that you don't even know. People envying other people, people being jealous of other people, people desiring people they ain't supposed to be desiring. Okay? The number 7 is so lucky. 3, 7, and 13 were always my favorite numbers. And I feel like I say it a lot lately on stream whenever 7 people are in here. And it was 1414 on the time. Yeah, 777, right? So what is 777's right here? I drew this months ago, yeah. I don't even know. It's a number of luck to me, so I don't even know what angel number 777 would be other than like luck is on your side, right? Like that's amazing. Okay. Connected to the individual self. Taking time to focus on yourself and be alone. So it's funny, right? Get present with what's going on between you and your significant other. Receiving divine guidance. Take time before partnerships. You're guided by your angels. You're on the right path. Positive omen when it comes to the law of attraction and manifestation. Significant symbol that embodies spiritual growth. So look in the most broad and loving ways. Yes, very, very lucky. And of course, as we discussed that, whoever was number 7 is gone, yes? Oh, yeah. Anyways, okay, so do we want to keep chatting? Does anybody have any questions? I was already streaming for an hour, just straight talking, mostly to lurkers, channeling a lot of crazy, all over the place energy. You can check the last stream. It's about an hour long, then we got disconnected, so we're reconnected. I was gonna read some Be Here Now, and then read some Be Forever Always. Yada yada yada. Okay. What are we thinking? Reading time. Y'all too quiet. Y'all not deciding fast enough. I would like to read because it's been a minute. And the cookbook section is pretty short pages and lots of quotes and stuff. So it's an easy read. It's not very dense. It's not as fun as the middle part of the Bible, but it's not as dense and quite frankly boring as the beginning. So, part of me wants to roll the ads now, even though it's only, we got 45 minutes, but then I make sure that we read for an hour is my goal, kind of. So, no offense, y'all. I'm gonna roll the ads. I'll be back. I'm gonna prepare to read, maybe stretch a little bit. I feel like I've been, well, just because it's smoky out, the air quality's been bad. It's like there ain't really a point to go out there because I work inside anyways. So I haven't been as active this week, I don't think, as I usually am. So because of injuries, though, for you, yeah? You don't know. You don't want to tell me that. Okay. All right. I'll be right back. Okay, so we are reading a little bit of Be Here Now. Beautiful. It always seems like it's a very big book, but whenever I hold it up, it seems so goddamn small, doesn't it? It just seems like a normal book, but it's actually pretty fucking massive compared to most books. But sometimes I hold it, it feels so small. I just love it, okay? My God, why can I not love as freely as I want? Because so many people are so broken and wounded and unhealed that they do not know what love is, and they do not know exactly how to react to it, okay? And sometimes they react poorly because they are just horny. I don't know. Anyways, I wanted it to rhyme, but maybe that applies. This landed upside down when I tossed it. It's a quote of my own. Every hinge holds a door. Every handle opens it. Not every hinge holds a door. And not every door has hinges, all right? Remember it. Let's go. We're on part 3 of the Psychedelic Bible, otherwise known as Be Here Now. Ram Dass, 1969 or something like that. This is sleeping section, okay? So, exercises. As you get further on the path, you will need less and less sleep. Me. I find that if I sleep too much when I'm not bleeding out, I really am messing up my day, man. If I get 8 hours of sleep on a good day, on a creative kick, I'm like, dude, why did I waste my time and now I'm just tired? I'm better off sleeping the 5 hours or less for like the weeks on end, because as soon as I stop, I'm all of a sudden like, oh, low energy, tired, blah, blah, blah. Of course, this is a shift in my cycle that I'm feeling, but sometimes I just need less sleep. I rest, meditate, and relax enough when I'm awake so that I can require less sleep, because I like to be conscious, in all honesty. Yes? Anyways, as you get further on the path, you will need less and less sleep. Start from where you are. Get as much sleep as you seem to need. However, it is helpful in facilitating your transformation to A, go to bed early and get up early. Most people in the West fill their evenings with activity and stimulation. As you get into a yogic way of life, those activities such as hanging out, movies, TV, making out, etc., cease to exert such a strong influence over you. Then the change in schedule becomes easy. If you have the opportunity to live away from electricity for a period of time, it is easier to notice the sunset and sunrise and to adapt to your schedule to the natural order of things. If you think you are matinal or nocturnal, don't worry about it. Just slowly bring your schedule into harmony. The fuck? I think it's fine to be nocturnal is the thing. I think there was a lot, again, I do think there's a lot of ignorance in this book because it was written by a white dude who worked at Harvard in the fucking 50s, bro. Like, it's sexist, it's racist, it's garbage to some extent. It's very hateful because some people do not have a choice but to be nocturnal or naturally are on that circadian rhythm, and there's nothing unholy about it. You know? Like, that's so weird. Sorry, I'm on night shift, bro. Like, what the fuck? No, Ram Dass was just a bit ignorant, okay? B. Sleep on a firm surface, perhaps a mat on the floor or a thick mattress. At first, this may be uncomfortable if you are unaccustomed to it, but quickly you adapt and find that the patterns and nature of your sleep change markedly as you change the surface upon which you sleep. I do prefer a firm mattress. C. It is good to sleep on your back or upon your side. The left side is often recommended for reasons concerning which nostril is most useful to breathe through during the night. Most of the time you breathe through one nostril dominantly. There is an evolved science in yoga concerning the effects of breathing through one nostril or the other. The nostril opposite the side you are sleeping on stays open. D. Sleep without a pillow or with a small pillow under your neck. It is good to keep your spine as straight as possible. E. Meditate for a few minutes before lying down to go to sleep. Patterns of sleep. Somebody's ears bothering them, or were you just talking about me? Thinking about that, yeah, scary. When you first lie down, relax your body progressively from feet to top of head. Experience the relaxation at each point along the way. Get out of the habit of thinking about things when you are going into sleep. Clear your mind. If you work with mantra, it is good to repeat your mantra and let it all else fall away. As your sadhana proceeds, you will be able to remain more conscious through the period of transition from your normal waking state into the states of sleep. You will witness these transitions in planes of consciousness from the vantage point of the calm niche created by your mantra, witnessing vantage point. During the first part of your sleep, you will be in a state of deep sleep. This is a dreamless state in which you merge once again into the unity of the One. Through this reuniting, you tune in on much prana and become refreshed. Parallels are often made between this state and Nirvikalp Samadhi and the first Bardo. Only when you have evolved far along the path will you remain conscious through the period of deep sleep. At that stage, you no longer sleep but merely pass the night by going into deeper states of Samadhi. Once your being has been successfully refreshed through deep sleep, you will re-enter through various planes of consciousness, finally coming to physical plane, at which point you usually say that you have awakened. The various planes you pass through prior to returning to the physical plane are generally referred to by most laymen in the West as the dream state. Actually, what we refer to as dreams are merely experiences in which we are having on planes other than the physical plane, something very commonly talked about on this channel, or rather previously deeply dissected and even drawn out. Drawn out as a conversation, but physically drawn on a whiteboard. I'll get the streams on Patreon eventually. Some are already on there if you want to join now and catch up. It's in the link tree. Such experiences are going on all the time, but usually our own awareness is attached to the physical plane, and we are oblivious of any other information coming from these other planes. Most of us have had the experience of being awakened by an alarm clock and being in the middle of a dream. Sometimes we are able to finish the dream without going back to sleep. That is, we keep in mind that the alarm has gone off, we stay in the state of half awake, half asleep in order to finish the dream. Many people are trained to do this in psychoanalysis. It is possible almost immediately upon embarking on one's sadhana to become aware in the same way during the process of dreaming. I hear a faint buzzing, faint ringing in my ear. Somebody thinking of me, perhaps. Although you may be an actor, wait. Once you know how to center through mantra, witness, etc., it is easy to observe your dreams running on. With very little practice, you will find that by sleeping on a hard surface, you sleep more lightly, which allows you to awaken in your dreams almost immediately upon coming out of deep sleep. It is useful to keep a mantra going while the dreams pass. Although you may still be an actor in your dream, if you identify with your mantra or witness, you can still watch your dreams in the same way as you might watch a movie, watching yourself as one of the actors. This is a technique for learning a great deal about who you are on planes other than the one with which you are familiar. The major advantage of some familiarity with other than the physical plane of consciousness is that it helps you to see what you are, called your waking state, is a little more than another plane of consciousness, no more, no less. Once you know this and live this knowledge from moment to moment, then such exercises with dreams are unnecessary, for they merely clutter your head with more illusion. At that stage, it is good as soon as you come out of deep sleep and become aware again to get up immediately and go into meditation, keeping as free from any thought as possible. Eating. Shall we read another section? How are we feeling? It's only been 10 minutes. I was going to try to read this for 30 minutes and then probably take 30 minutes on that and then be done with reading for the night. Go back to the chat. It's up to y'all though, right? Okay, eating. Our bodies are temple where we live and where we do the work of becoming enlightened. Just as certain external environments are more conducive to increased awareness than others, at least in the early stages of awakening, so it is with the inner environment, the body itself. It can be a clean, well-lighted place. We are what we eat may be an oversimplification, but it contains a grain of truth. What we eat affects the nature of the body and of body cells and organs and the way they function. At another level, you could say that the vibrations of anything you put into the organisms modify the vibrations of the total organism. At the outset of sadhana, you cannot radically change your eating patterns without damage to the physical body. But what you can do is attend to what and how you eat. Basically, there is a program of diet for the sadhak. 1, don't eat too much. The traditional way of saying this is that at the conclusion of a meal, a yogi's stomach should be half full of food, 1/4 full of water, and 1/4 full of air. 2, eat light, healthy, unadulterated foods which are easily digestible. It would be desirable if we could find one agreed upon diet that would be optimal for sadhana, but it is apparent from the many controversies that rage concerning which foods are good and which foods are bad that no single diet is universally considered desirable. Such as a welter of conflicting information may confuse a beginner, but such confusion may be constructive if it precipitates close scrutiny of a diet and a search for what is the essence of the matter behind all diets. Much of the controversy is the result of a failure to realize that a sadhak needs different kinds of food at different stages of his journey. When he is first shedding his habitual meat diet, he may wish to substitute whole grains, such as brown rice and whole wheat, along with vegetables, some fish, fruit, honey instead of sugar, nuts, and dairy products. Later, he may find, as he further purifies his body, that certain of these foods interfere with his sadhana by producing mucus or vibrations, which made meditation more difficult. He may eventually find, if he is leading a contemplative life, that fruits and nuts are enough. Even such a sparse diet that is merely a step upon the path. At the conclusion, one is capable of living upon light alone. We as separate entities could be characterized as energy transformers. We take in energy, pran, in certain forms, transform this energy, and then emit it in other forms. Beings whose consciousness is totally attached to the physical plane consider food, water, and air as the major sources of their energy. As a being progresses along the path, he comes to understand that there are other sources of energy available to him. Finally, he arrives at the stage where he is able to transmute everything in the universe into useful energy. In modern Western science, the relationship between mass and energy, as set forth by Einstein, reflects this truth. That is, what appears to us to be a mass is merely huge amounts of bound energy. If and when the mass can be broken down, there is a release of energies. From this came the splitting of the atom. Okay, quite honestly, sounds like me. I always say in the summertime I eat less because I'll just be sitting in the tub. Oh, good. I'll just be sitting in the sun. Don't even need to eat. On break, what do I say? Oh, I just ate some figs and some nuts. And, love a good charcuterie. I really dig this. Actually, it reminds me of me. My diet's constantly changing and adapting to my cycle and just year by year to my health and my needs. 3, abstain as much as possible from strong. I ain't gonna like this one. Abstain as much as possible from strong, hot, spicy, or pungent foods. Also go light on stimulants such as coffee, tea, and spirits. Certain spices are useful in digestion, and these may be used in moderation. See, this is where they lose me because I don't believe that life is meant for purity to this level. And I do believe in getting fucked up to some extent. Like, I do think we are here to be heathens. We are humans. If we were meant to just live off berries and nuts for real, and not be getting fucked up, eating fungus, doing drugs, getting drunk or whatever, like, we just would have evolved or incarnated as animals. We are literally allowed to do what we want as humans within bounds of, like, moral code and maybe even law, but at the same time, we have that autonomous choice. I think we should be kind of living to the fullest. I don't believe in completely disconnecting from desire. I feel like it's sort of something you should have a semblance of, is your wants and desire. So either way, in order to go to the spice trip, you have to alter your model of why you eat. Most Westerners are very sensual and spend large amounts of time in titillating their palates with the variety and subtlety in tastes. The gourmet represents the epitome of such a value. The sadhak, however, realizes that all sense gratification is merely perpetuating the enslavement to desire, so he attempts early on to surrender the taste, trip, and flavor of his spiritual goal. Because my thing is, we're going to be part of Source and be one when we die anyways. Like, we can go be holy over there, truly. I like knowing and learning and growing and understanding, but I would never really truly want to give up all the things I enjoy in this world, because that is truly why I've incarnated. And there's many things to give up. There's many things to be given up. There's plenty to be rationed and to be able to have a control over and to enjoy one time or whatever. But, I would never want to just give up desirely, because I don't entirely, but desirely, because I just feel like that's part of the human experience. And I am here to be human. I'm not here to be fully divine just because I live among the divine, if you will, right? Like, I'm not trying to, I don't necessarily agree with, once more, everything in this book. But this is not necessarily required. At the early stages of work, it is useful to simplify one's diet, even to the taking of the same menu every day, making it as tasty as possible with mild and healthful spices, which I do prefer things that are good for you rather than just flavorful, right? This repetition and blandness may be distasteful at first, but soon one develops new sensitivities in taste and new feelings of lightness in mind and body, which more than compensate for what he has been given up. 4. Be considerate with the vibrations associated with the source, preparation, and eating of foods. Most of us are so gross in our sensitivity that we can hardly even appreciate this point. But those of us who have been doing sadhana for a period of time or have lived with very pure beings find these rules to be obvious. A. Any food which entails violence, killing, in its source is not to be taken. At one end of the continuum is meat, the preparation of which obviously includes the killing of an animal which has a rudimentary self-consciousness. It thus experiences fear and releases into its system adrenaline and other chemicals from the endocrine glands, which are not helpful for meditation. At the other end of this continuum are fruits which fall from trees, given as a gift for our own needs. Which of the foods in the middle of the continuum involves some violence to the natural order of things in order to obtain them, e.g., vegetables, milk, is a much debated question. In this manual, we can only recognize the existence of such a continuum and bring it to your attention. There's also like an image drawn on here. I don't know why there's a crease in some of these pages, like very randomly. It seems that the crease starts right here. I'm gonna read this page because there's like a crease, like it's weird. It's like a dip almost in the book, and it starts like, maybe it's not this page in particular, but it's not through the whole thing. So I feel like I should read the page I first flipped to, but